welcome back. So today I'm going to be providing some tips on how to read more if you want to read more. I thought maybe I was a good person to do this because last year I read over 300 books and I'm probably going to read over that this year. The first tip I have is just find a time and place that works for you. For me, I like to get up early before everybody else and I can spend a couple hours reading. Maybe you're somebody who likes to read before bed. Just before you go to bed, always have a book by your bedstand. And then, you can just read before you go to bed. So just find a time, find a place where you can be as free of distraction as possible and preferably quiet. Hey, if you got to, go to the library. It's quiet there and you can usually find a place to just sit in the corner and have some time to read. Sometimes the bookstores have places like that. Kind of not right now, but in the future, hopefully, we'll get back to that. My second tip is to find books that you like. I find it's harder to get through a book if I'm not enjoying it versus if it's a book that I am enjoying it. When I'm enjoying it, I tend to just go right through it. For instance, if I'm reading, say, Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, I just blew through this. This is a big book, but I was intrigued. It was great, and I was not bored at all. Now, another book that I wasn't interested in just took it, and it's not even that it took me forever to read it. I just dreaded every moment of it. So, if you pick books that you think you're gonna like, it makes it much easier to read if you're enjoying it. The third tip is to set some reading goals. Maybe say, that you're going to read 100 pages a day. Maybe there's a challenge. You can find lots of challenges either on Goodreads or anywhere on the web. Pinterest, all that kind of stuff. Just type in reading challenge and you can come up with some. Maybe give yourself a daily goal. For instance, I'll read an hour a day. I'll read 100 pages a day. And once you get that kind of going, then you'll realize that over time, this is how many pages I'm reading. Maybe you're somebody who wants to have some yearly reading goals. Say I'm going to read 50 books a year. That means you have to read about one a week. And that even gives you 2 weeks to go on vacation. Say you want to read 100 books a year. That's about 2 books a week. And again, there's still a little bit of leeway if you want to go on vacation or have a break. There's lots of also book clubs or on YouTube. There's book clubs on Goodreads. There's challenges, like I said, online, anywhere. Just challenge yourself. Give yourself a goal to reach for, something that you want to achieve. If you think about it, if you read 100 pages a day, we'll say the average book is 400 pages. That means that you're almost reading 2 books a week. So the fourth tip is one that I don't typically do a lot, and that's just because I think that I just get through books so quickly. But that would be to DNF or do not finish books that you don't like. If you're not liking the book, if you're not into it, just give it up. Doesn't mean you won't finish it, but maybe just not now. If you don't enjoy what you're reading, set it aside. Pick up something else. Pick up something that you are enjoying. I don't typically DNF books. Every once in a while I will. But for the most part, because I get through them so fast, if I have a 300-page book and I get through it in 3 days, then I didn't torture myself very long. But I think if I did, I might read more. It's just more that once I get started, I have a hard time finishing. And if you're that kind of person, then just finish it. Tip number 5 is to get an e-reader or download a reading app or use the computer, whatever. Read digital books. If you have a Kindle, like I have my Kindle, I take it with me everywhere. Then if I ever have time, if I'm ever waiting for something, waiting for the doctor's office, I guess if you're waiting at the DMV, wherever, any place that you have to go where there's going to be a wait. If you have ebooks and you have an e-reader, you have an app for reading books on your phone or your iPad or whatever, then, when you have those times, you have something to do, you have something to read. So I fully recommend ebooks. I can take this with me everywhere. It's got hundreds of books on it, so like it. Tip number 6 is to listen to audiobooks. If you add audiobooks to the mix, This gives you all sorts of opportunities to listen to books. Listen to books in the car, when you're cleaning house, when you're doing art, when you're, like playing games on your phone, when you're exercising. Tip number 7 would be find little pockets of time every day that you could read something. When you're at work and it's on your lunch break or your break or whatever, whenever you have a break at work, you have little times when you can pick up a book. Or maybe the power goes out so you can't play video games. So just read a book. I know that doesn't happen every day, but sometimes it does, but books never lose power. I mean, the e-reader does, but you also got physical books too. Maybe you're at the airport waiting for a plane. So just find little times when maybe you could squeeze in a chapter. If you're baking cupcakes, while you're waiting for them to cook, read a chapter in your book. Number 8, that might be to join read-alongs or read with another person. So I guess I do this one because I do read to my children. So just read with somebody. You joined a reading group, so find some buddy reads. Find other people that are reading the same books that you are so that you can have fun talking about them. Join a Discord about books. There's all sorts of different things that you can do to bring other people into it. Like I said, read to your children. If you're trying to teach your kids to read, have them read to you. Now, I do read to my kids, but I don't do a lot of buddy reads and stuff because I think I read so fast that I'm done with the book long before everyone else. I might have a hard time not spoiling it for anyone. But I won't say that I've never done it. Obviously, I think sometimes me and my family, my mom, my sister, we might be reading the same book and then we can talk about it later. So in some ways I do this. It's not really oh, I'm on chapter this, so it's just, hey, I read this book, it's great. They read it and then we can talk about it. Tip number 9. Read a variety. Tip number 9 is to read a variety of books. Read some nonfiction in something that you're interested in. Maybe you only read mystery thrillers. Pick up a fantasy. Maybe you only read fantasy. Pick up a mystery. Try something new. You never know that you might find something that you like. Pick up a horror novel. Pick up that piques your interest. Don't just put yourself in I only like fantasy, I only like sci-fi, I only like mystery thrillers, I only like romance. Try a variety. That way you find, helps you discover the type of book that you like, the type of writing that you like, the authors that you like, so that you can find more by that author, so you can find more in that genre, so that you can find all sorts of opportunities to read different types of books. And this might sound a little contradictory to the one read things you enjoy, but this does help you find books and genres and authors that you enjoy. And you can always just set the ones aside that you're not really getting into, and that author's not for me, that genre is not for me. So you find what you like and what you don't like. Number 10, find a hobby. There's all sorts of books out there about different hobbies. Maybe you want to learn how to invest. There's books about investing. Maybe you want to learn to do art or to draw. There's art books. I think art books count because they take way longer to get through than a normal book. Because as you're reading it, you're also having to stop and follow the instructions that are in the book. So it takes a lot longer to read, and I'm one of those, with art books, that when I start them, I might read some and then, or I might, draw a couple of things in there and then I'm going to go to a different one because maybe I don't want just to draw manga. Maybe I want to do something else. I'll do a Zentangle next. So find a hobby, find something you're interested in and find a book about it. For me, I also read cookbooks. Some people would say that maybe they don't count, but when I do them, I go through, I look at the recipe, I read the recipe, and often I imagine, what would that taste like if I made it, based on the ingredients that are in it. But that's because I cook a lot, and so I do that. It's not just reading the recipe and the instructions, it's really going, thinking about how something will taste when you make it. The next tip Tip number 11 be to turn off the TV, turn off the video games, turn off the electronics. Just instead of having all of these things going on, just turn it off, make things a little quiet, and read. We spend our time doing all sorts of things. If you want to read more, you have to spend more time reading. And that means sometimes you have to turn off something else. Or you might want to turn off something else if you want to read more. Number 12 would be make yourself comfortable. Make yourself a snack. Set aside what you can. Take the time that you can. Some people are super busy. Some people aren't. But just make time for yourself. Make time to do the things that you enjoy. And if you enjoy reading, make time to do it. So, those are the tips I have for you if you want to read more. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks.